Welcome back. Today is Sunday. I'm slightly cold, but my name is Yuhn. I'm joined by SilverDirge for the conclusion of the Enter the Rift tournament.
Yeah, and this is, I believe, the first, or at least not the.
This is our winners
I'm so confused.
bracket
Winners
final
bracket. Final.
between NFAO on blue team. On the purple side we have Effloresence right now. Opening bans so far we have Cassiopeia, followed by Ari and Shyvana. Standard bans you usually see a lot right now. Cassiopeia is just an all-round powerful hero who arguably has the strongest laning phase out of any hero right now in the game. Ari also has a very strong phase, someone that gets really strong later on in the game with massive amounts of AP. Shyvana, one of the the four strongest junglers I would consider to be right now, has very strong counter jungling that's been popularized by Diamond Ez from Miami Kia, and the counter jungle potential from early levels is just really strong. And you see Morgana being banned out as well, another one of the standard APs that are just all around being used for their potential to just be tanky while providing a lot of damage and utility. Yuhn also being the last ban out for NFAO. Still, even after being nerfed, that jungler is still incredibly strong. So, I mean, it's not uncommon ban, a lot of people don't like it. And then we see Warwick ban too, also has been buffed. More of this top lane Warwick. Top lane Warwick got really strong as well. And the clearing for Warwick is actually very good. And it lowers his susceptibility to counter jungling if you start getting one-on-ones or one-on-one situations with junglers. Like a Hungry Strike and his passive just, well, his passive, sorry, mainly is the thing that is the only thing that got buffed, and that makes him a lot easier to trade 1v1 in jungle and wait for his team to help him if they actually decide to help.
Yeah, and we've got picks on Shen and Janna so far. Let's see what else Effloresence decides to choose right now. And I have to say, Janna is looking extremely strong as a support player. Her utility, she's always kind of been very strong champion with her kit, but not quite the sustain that a lot of other supports have, which makes her kind of toned down a little bit. But after the other supports have been brought into line, Janna's still an excellently strong pick, has not changed very much over the past few months, and a pick on Rise.
So Rise again, or Shen after being nerfed is still individually strong. Apparently this window is not sorry, fixing the window anyway. So Shen after being nerfed is still on his own strong. He's a lot stronger than he was before. His trading ability and laning harassment still one of the strongest that top lanes have, and there's only one real counter to him as a top laner. In terms of now, I haven't really been seeing too many top lane Shen, so I don't know if that still holds up, but we will see if Efflorescence has the capacity to play that one certain hero that does really well against Shen top lane. And then we also, so the Janna Rise pick, Rise is also just that tanky AP that has that stupid but very luxurious build of being able to build tank you as he builds damage. And then afterwards we do see TF Vayne. Vayne, the AD with the weakest laning phase out of any AD right now, has a very high scaling late game that makes her capable of 1v5 in teams if played correctly. But it looks like if they decide to do this new cog, if this isn't a... Oh wait, no, this is Janna Cog. Janna Cog lanes are still very good, and Kog'Maw is very strong against Vayne, especially in lane, as well as in team fights as well. Vayne has to barrel through to try and kill a Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw can just poke away from 710 range.
And it looks like there's a pick on Nunu, who will be in the jungle. Very interesting pick. You don't see a whole lot of Nunu in the jungle anymore because he's a lot slower since the jungler remakes and the fact that his kit just can't keep up with a lot of other junglers now. But a pick on Udyr and Lulu, brand new champion just released earlier this week, and have not seen her in, I guess, tournament play, so I'm very fascinated with Jerk the Dirk selecting Lulu as their support champion.
Yeah, so Nunu jungle used to be popular because it was the only real jungler that was capable to counter jungle in old jungle, where mobs were a lot bigger and the whole camps were worth more, when Nunu would just literally walk up, eat like large wraith or etc. and just run off. But now, if that's the case, it's more about speed in jungle, and he doesn't hold that, so now you see him a lot as a support hero more instead. We actually, oh wait,
Hmm?
I think this is AP Janna.
AP Janna. Oh, that would make a lot more sense.
Delirium was the one playing Morgana and such in earlier games, so
Yeah.
I assume this is AP Janna, which isn't something you see a lot of.
Mhm.
It's a very niche way to go. It's mostly focusing on farming hard and then just shoving waves all the time. But even in fights, if you as long as you can hit charge tornadoes, it does a lot of damage and it's a lot of disruption. We also see, okay, so the last pick also of Trundle. So Trundle will be jungling with Rise and Janna solos.
Yeah.
Very interesting. There's a lot of kite potential for this team as well. In Nunu, just looking at the lineup, it's very kite heavy. We also see actually Trundle's very useful in the fact that he's very good against tanks like Udyr and Shen because of his ultimate. So you can also, like, if you say you have this really tanky Udyr at the helm, you use decay on that Udyr and you focus it down really fast, and he drops immensely fast, losing all his stats that makes him durable, and that allows you to turn fights from 5v5 to 4v5 very quickly. But a gimmick that we can also see NFAO abuse in this game is the fact that they have global presence. They have Shen as well as TF.
Yeah. Especially if they decide to partner the two, have TF teleport in somewhere with Destiny, and then have Shen use Stand United on Twisted Fate. The two of them can just zip around anywhere they want to as a pair. But still, I don't remember if I've asked you this. What are your thoughts on Lulu?
Lulu is one of the supports I thought was going to be either retardedly OP or really, really, really crappy. The hero so far has been proven to just be okay. I haven't seen it a lot. So in terms of actual potential that the hero has as a full is yet to still be decided, I guess. But the hero is actually pretty okay. She has a very strong kit. But I'm not too sure if this Lulu Vayne lane is going to be exactly what they want against a Cog Janna lane. As the rest of this delay period winds down, we're going to jump to our man controlling the stream really quickly about our sponsors and such, and we're going to go more into this analysis right as we return.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of Enter the Rift. I am prodiG, running the stream from the background right now. Today we're going to be giving away another $10 RP card, so be sure to get on Twitter using hashtag ETRYEGN. Follow OK Gaming. Everybody who tweets with that hashtag today will be eligible to win a $10 RP card, so be sure to get on Twitter and actually do that. Your tweets do have the chance to get shown on the stream, as you can see on the screen right now, so be sure to get on that Twitter. If you don't already have a Twitter account, only takes a few seconds to register, and esports is basically built on Twitter, so if you don't have a Twitter account, you're killing esports, and that is not a good look. Shout out to our sponsor, Oodle Noodle. If you are in the Edmonton area and you want some delicious noodles, you can get it delivered straight to you. 780-278-7877 is the number to call. April 7th is Overkill 2 here at Overclock Gaming and Computers. FES tournament featuring Counter-Strike 1.6 5-on-5 on the PC, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and Halo Reach on the Xbox 360. As well, Thursday nights, also League of Legends night here at Overclocked Gaming and Computers. $10 for members, $15 for non-members. And runs from 6 to 10 p.m. Lots of people coming out to that, so uh-oh. Got a bit of a spilled drink here, but definitely want to come on down Thursday nights for that. Be sure to follow Overclock Gaming and Computers online at twitter.com/OKGaming, facebook.com/OKOverclockedComputers. That link on the screen is a little bit incorrect, but if you just search Overclocked Gaming and Computers, you'll be able to find it. All the VODs from yesterday are currently being uploaded as we speak to Overclocked at youtube.com/OverclockedEdmonton. And, of course, visit the main page, www.overclocked.com, for more information on upcoming events, the venue itself, and as well as a live stream, and that's where you'll be able to find the VODs as well after the event has concluded. This event also being hosted in part by Edmonton Gamers. Be sure to follow them online as well, www.edmontongamers.com. They are hosting a ton of events both on and offline here at Overclock Gaming and Computers, and be sure to follow them on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook as well. And it looks like the game crashed a little bit, so we're actually just getting set up for a quick restart here, and we're going to be able to get that underway very shortly here, but we'll have to restart that 3-minute countdown. But we're going to get everything started very quickly, so don't go anywhere.
Alright, welcome back. So we had a quote-unquote mastery bug. So we just restarted into blind pick and they're going to go over it. So this does give us, well, now we have that 3-minute delay period again. So we're just going to run over quickly if you're just joining us now. The sort of gimmicks that these teams have. So we have NFAO on blue side with Effloresence on purple. So initially looking at this, the initial thing that stands out is NFAO has a very global present team. We have Shen with Teleport as well as Twisted Fate, which are both two very strong globals that provides a lot of utility. And in terms of APTF, that's also a very strong split pushing. And with the way Shen buff has been in top lane, you can split push very strong, and that's really the only still the true global ultimate that will actually move you from place to place. So if they do control the game well enough, they'll actually be able to have this big split push, this split push that they can abuse highly. Look at Efflorescence's team though. We actually have, it's a very kite heavy and it's actually very mobile. Nunu Janna actually is can help move their teams quickly from place to place, so to keep up with that. We also have an AP Janna, which is actually very useful with an FAP to actually hold turrets and prevent pushes. So we'll see exactly how both teams start to execute this game. So I think the interesting thing too is an AP Janna. You don't see a whole lot of players that play AP Janna. It's very niche. It's actually slightly tricky to play. It mainly focuses on farming, trying to get early AP, and then starting to just actually directly push waves with tornadoes. Once again, I'm Yuhn. I'm joined by SilverDirge on this lovely Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. And lovely it is.
She sounds really quiet in my headset.
Oh, well, you sound fuzzy.
Speak now.
I'm here. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Now?
Hello.
Aha. Oh.
Testing. Testing.
Yeah. Alright,
Awesome.
so 30 seconds left in this delay period. We are going to go on. So, Silver, what are your thoughts so far with current picks right now in lane setups?
Current picks and lane setups. Well, we've got a bottom lane that Lulu Vayne against Nunu Kog'Maw. Nunu Kog'Maw has been really strong since, I guess, Hanover. A lot of people like this matchup, but on the other hand, Lulu, brand new champion. She's not overly strong as a support champion. Doesn't quite have the sustain that you'd expect. Instead, she's more of a buff and debuff sort of champion. But then, of course, we have Vayne, who's very strong in the late game, but up until then has a very weak laning phase. So I would expect Kog'Maw to get the upper hand in that bottom lane. In mid, we've got that Twisted Fate, AP Twisted Fate, and an AP Janna. You don't really see either of them very much anymore, but because I think Janna is very tricky to play, and Twisted Fate had a very high skill cap upon his release, I honestly have no idea how that lane will go, since I just don't see them very often. Top lane, Shen, Rise. Shen kind of needs to be mobile. The fact that he's also melee, I think, will give him a little bit more difficulty in that top lane. And then, of course, in the jungle, we've got Udyr and Trundle. And because Trundle has that debuff, he's able to just melt down the magical resist and armor of his enemies. Udyr might have a little bit more of difficulty towards the late game, since any defense that he has will be melted down instantly. But we are finally in game with what looks like a very aggressive invasion. The two teams are very close to one another, and they have no idea. Ugh.
We actually do have a 5v4, and actually this is very bad if Shen hasn't skilled a point yet either, so actually he has put in taunt, so here they go. There's the gold card onto it, Shen taunting in after the tornado. Ignite going down on Nunu, Nunu also flashing out right now. Shen taking
30 seconds until minions spawn.
TF is actually going to be flashing in for that gold card. Another taunt and the Ignite goes down onto Cog. Cog gets pushed back into the turret by Vayne's Condemn. However, Shen is the first to fall to the tower, getting that credit to Janna. So they are going to get first blood actually for Efflorescence in a 4v5 situation. That was actually very poorly done by NFAO. The gold card went out on Nunu, and there's just, the focus was actually very obscure. They decided to go on this Nunu, blow Ignite, all this taunt, and then switch targets instead, trying to push in as he didn't even retreat towards the tower. He kept going into this bush. And they just never really got it. And Vayne also went Condemn first. I think in that sort of situation, it'd be better if you skilled the tumble from that point, because there wasn't really a situation for her to actually pin anyone on anything. So NFAO definitely could have had a first blood there if they just actually focused a little bit more instead of just splitting all their damage.
Yep, and we are seeing typical pulls right now for both Trundle and Udyr. Udyr getting there a little bit late. He hasn't taken any of the other camps yet because of the late start to his jungle. Trundle, in the meantime, has already picked up blue buff. Nunu, Kog'Maw coming down back to their lane. Lulu, preemptive wards there by NFAO in this upper part of the river and near Dragon.
So looking at also with that in that exchange, Efflorescence also needs to keep in mind that they did burn flashes, Shen blue flash, NTF blue flash both on the first instance of trying to get Nunu, and then they try to switch their focus on Cog. So the flashes of solo lanes are down, and what makes Trundle ganks actually really strong is Pillar, and Pillar is very useful against characters that don't have any sort of blink. So things like Corki, Corki, Ezreal are very good against, are very strong against Pillar due to their ability to just be able to get around it much easier. Shen has a taunt, yeah, but TF actually doesn't. And if he's able to catch TF in this period where he still doesn't have a flash, it's a very easy kill due to Janna's ability to kite with, again, Tornado and Zephyr. So if he has that the opportunity to do that, he needs to do that. While TF's flash is past halfway of the cooldown, so I don't know if we'll see that, but it's one thing to keep in mind, especially when you play this sort of Trundle jungle.
Yeah, we have Udyr with that double buff, and Trundle coming in here top lane for a lane gank. Looks like Streaks is not ready yet to gank, but Infernal Machine here on Trundle, just waiting, but not much of vision to guarantee. There you go. He's moving into that upper bush now, just waiting. There's a little bit of pressure here on Shen. He's, oh, there we go, baiting out that first potion.
So quickly as we go again into these lane things, I think the one thing we didn't touch was this top lane. This Ryze Shen lane, I don't particularly like the Ryze pick against it. The early parts are where Shen will have a bit more difficulty against him, but following that, when Ryze actually starts to gain mana, he gets stronger. Shen can actually itemize very well against that. As if he builds like items like a Heart of Gold or Wit's End, it actually makes him very strong. He's able to just like face roll tank Ryze's damage and just be able to lock him down with taunt, prevent him from spamming skills, and just continuously sustain himself with Vorpal Blade. So for the earlier part, Shen's it's a little rough for Shen, but Ryze also can't do a whole lot in this part because this is actually his weakest part in the game. There's the taunt actually, his Streaks is coming behind from the Tribush. He gets the Rune Prison down, not quite enough as he tries to flash past. He also gets connected with the Bear Paw. Trundle coming in with the Pillar of Filth, however, Udyr decides to flash past and get that last hit on Ryze, taking him down, and he is going to fall down. The other problem too, again, with the Ryze, without wards, Ryze is very easy to gank because he only has one tool to stop ganks in Rune Prison, and even that's very easy to bait out sometimes and just render him very useless because he doesn't have, he moves slow. Actually, sorry, looking bottom, we actually had a pickup by Vayne onto Kog'Maw. Didn't quite see that. Vayne getting actually considerably low. We do see Nunu actually somewhat at full health, which is surprisingly questionable. In this sort of lane with Nunu Cog, Nunu generally acts as that wall peel, as he is able to just consume creeps later, so I'm not sure what exactly is going on here, but the Nunu should really be getting the brunt of the damage, and if the Kog'Maw is the one getting focused, then there's a little bit of misplay going on in this lane, to be honest.
In fact, in mid, not a whole lot of action going on. They're both conserving their mana. It's nothing but a farm lane at this point. Both of them have also just hit level 6, so very interested to see whether or not the two of them decide to roam around.
Actually over TF. Obviously with that first blood, I don't know if she didn't quite catch if she went and bought maybe sold a couple potions to get that early quick Doran ring for that advantage in lane. TF does report back then he's going to have 2 Doran rings of his own. I actually like this TF a lot, this lane matchup for Twisted Fate in particular, because Twisted Fate really just wants to farm. He's not the biggest lane fighter, he's more that kind of character, and really strong Twisted Fates will do things like chip with red card, get that blue card in here and there to farm and keep up mana as they look for ganks, and keep a mana up pool so that they can use Destiny for successful ganks, and then chip away with red cards and gold cards. And in this sort of lane where Janna's not a super aggressive AP against him, compared to something again like Cassiopeia or even Morgana can shove very hard against him, as he doesn't have quite enough AP to completely clear waves at the start of the game. This actually allows him to farm very comfortably with just spamming wild cards, spamming blue card, as Janna also doesn't have quite the capability to shove as hard as she'd like to, because they'll shove at about the same rate, whereas something like again Cassiopeia or Morgana will actually shove a lot harder, and so he can actually just sit here comfortably and farm, and that's where he wants to be. You want to have all that AP on Twisted Fate, so you can become this very poke heavy character with a ton of split push potential and just a global presence. And actually bottom we do see Udyr in this bottom bush right now, looking for that lane gank right now. So Vayne and Lulu are going to be trying to shove up this wave. He's going to wait for this wave. Actually, he might just go get the golems and come back. We do see Trundle actually picking up Udyr's blue buff. Not too sure if they saw that or not. So Trundle is going to counter jungle that blue buff from Udyr and head off. We actually do see a pink ward going down on the dragon by NFAO, so they are going to clear that vision out.
Yep.
Again, Kog'Maw again just taking free shots from Vayne. It's not something you want to have done. This is actually a lane that the Nunu Cog lane can actually do very well against with Nunu, because you do give that speed buff and attack speed buff to Kog'Maw, which helps his bio-arcane barrage. We actually have Vayne ulting in here with Final Hour, trying to get some damage off, probably going for that Condemn on the tower, if that's what you would have gone for. That might have been able to net a kill, but unfortunately not quite, so that Final Hour is going to be down for a little bit. Sorry, but anyways, the Blood Boil helps Kog'Maw, you know, the attack speed comes up and that keeps him at that Bioarcane Barrage range where he can lob at Vayne, and then it also increases the attack speed, which also gives him more ticks of that percentage damage that it also comes with, as well as the Ice Ball that Nunu has actually slows the attack speed and attack movement of a character like Vayne. That actually is a lot worse even for a character like Vayne, who actually relies a decent amount of damage for her early game damage at least, and even late game on Silver Bolts, which again, you need 3 hits, and with a lowered attack speed, especially when you don't have a high amount of attack speed to start with, that really takes away from her damage at the start.
And we have got a Delirium on Janna, picking up that blue buff, which Tsunade Tech does not have right now. So Janna being able to out-farm a lot more right now. In the meantime, bottom lane, both Vayne and Lulu shoving very hard against the towers of Efflorescence. Top lane, Krokododo, and gosh dang it, not a whole lot going on up here. Not very many ganks anymore, but Trundle here being able to counter jungle the majority of Udyr's jungle. He has been able to secure his own red buff, but now he's continuously looking for lane ganks, and oh, Undead Mickey taking a lot of damage. There's the Ignite, probably not going to finish him off, but Odd Stealth will go down with excellently placed
ultimate. Living Artillery into that plus that absolute zero is enough to take away that, or get that kill onto Vayne and give Undead Mickey that, I guess, a little bit of breathing room that I think he should already have. Looking at top 2 quickly, actually, just looking at the CS quick, so Janna already leading at 87, TF at 72. So again, not too much behind. Janna did have the Doran's rings, that very early 2 Doran's rings, so it's expected that she's already a little bit ahead. We do have top lane, we have Ryze at 47 compared to Shen's 53, which is not bad, but Shen can now comfortably farm. As again, Ryze doesn't have quite a large amount of mana yet, only at about 1,100 mana. Isn't going to be a huge amount of damage actually to Shen. Shen actually packing very little magic resist, surprisingly only at 32 in a lane like this. So that's very surprising, but as long as he's able to farm and get those magic resist items as well as powering himself up, he'll be able to handle Ryze actually quite easily when it comes down to it. And looking at bottom lane, we have that Vayne at 75 to Kog'Maw's 62. Again, I'm just still surprised that Vayne is actually having her way a bit more with this. You don't want Vayne to be able to be ahead in farm and, you know, to sit comfortably in lane, because it's easier for her then to hit that late game phase that she always wants to be striving for. And the best way, or the highest, or the biggest opportunity you have to shut down Vayne is again in lane phase, because she does actually bolster like the weakest lane phase out of all the AD carries.
In middle lane, we've got Janna already.
Actually see the Destiny going top lane onto Ryze right now, flashing in. Didn't actually get the gold card. I think it was a blue card, and there was an Ignite on Shen. Krokododo trying to throw that overload, not quite enough damage, and he is going to fall.
Oh, excuse me. So out of it this morning.
Again, Ryze, not faring too well yet in his lane, only at 48 CS, just has tier now. As we do see now, the bottom part of the map is getting a little bit warded. They actually could pinch up this Lulu right now, so here comes, as she's trying to counter jungle this pink ward right now. Instead, no, Trundle's actually just going to take their pink ward and get rid of that instead right now. Again, Kog'Maw just taking quite a bit of damage, as Nunu doesn't seem to be peeling or acting as a meat shield for him that much in this lane right now.
Yep, Silver Bolts being able to proc on that third hit, that's beginning to cost Undead Mickey a lot more. Ping's going down. Trundle does have a timer on this blue buff. Looks like we might end up with a 2v3 fight down here. I don't think they've seen Udyr yet.
See Ryze coming. There's the decay actually very thrown out early right now. He is trying to chunk down this TF as he's running through. There's a stand unite onto him. Ryze actually coming down from the river, going to pick up that kill on TF as well. And they're going to go on this. There's the slow onto Shen, forcing him to flash over the wall, and he's going to walk away from it. There's the ping. Blue buff has just respawned. Udyr is, though, very low, and we do have Ryze with a chunky amount of mana, so they aren't going to be able to really take this, as Janna will just kite, and they are going to hand that buff over to Ryze. So now Ryze will probably be able to get a bit more of this bully state over this Shen for the meantime. Shen still now has Wit's End, so 62 magic resist. Still not a whole lot against Ryze, so he'll be able to machine gun his spells over and over. Although this Ryze definitely probably wants a bit more of a war. Not too sure why he's going to place this war in this tribe bush. He's still very susceptible to ganks right up from the river from this angle. So all he'll have to do is not try to throw away that blue buff. We do see Vayne just before buying, picking up this golden cap, a very actually neat trick. Not all AD carriers do, but you know, if your jungler is not going for it, might as well just grab it. And because of, again, it's only a 1 minute respawn, just take it. It also lessens the chance someone will counter jungle against it.
And it looks like Delirium will be picking up yet another blue buff for her. Lane does have that needlessly large rod, Sork boots, and that double Thorns from the very beginning of this game, looking very strong here in middle lane. Twisted Fate still with a blasting wand, kind of trailing a little bit behind since Janna did grab that first blood earlier.
So I actually do see Janna being able to control this middle lane very well. We do see this tower of TF's only at 430 hit points right now. So if he does pour it out again, he is going to lose this tower unless someone else is here to clean or to guard it for him. Other than that, actually it's getting even lower, so it is going to fall right here. Delirium going to take that middle tower, first one of the game right now. And even though they're up in kills and gold on NFAO's side, Jen is doing a very good job of pressuring this TF and making sure that if he does do these Destiny ganks that they have to count, or else she is just going to continue pushing and barreling. It is very hard to catch a Janna. With her ability to peel is just so high. So he really has to make sure that these Destinies count, or else Delirium is going to continuously start to put pressure in on these towers as she is right now. Although we do see Udyr looping around from the Wraith, so we probably might see this gank attempt onto her. They're going to try and pinch her in right now. There's the Destiny right now, as well as the Bear Stance. That red is going to do it, but that Monsoon not going to be enough, as she's still going to get tagged with that flash in and the ignite coming down onto it. We do see Ryze teleporting in right now. There's the wild card that picks it up, although Crocodilo in huge trouble right now. Not tanky, no tank stats whatsoever, and he's also going to fall to this TF and Udyr. Not the best play, as this is also going to open up a free dragon for NFAO right now.
Yeah, we've got Effloresence trying to contest this dragon despite having 2 members of their team down. This will be a 3v4, but there we go, they are engaging on this. Infernal Machine trying to get all in there. There's Absolute Zero, does the proc. Infernal Machine very low on health right now. Snotty Tech also taking a lot of damage. Dragon still focusing. Oh, Odd Stealth does take down Undead Mickey. Infernal Machine's next to go, and Ignite will take him out, but wow, that is amazing. Nobody on NFAO has fallen, and they take 2 kills and a dragon.
Again, there's just a deterred bit of focus. I'm not too sure who Trundle decided to decay, but right after using it, he went on TF, and I didn't see TF with that decay debuff, so the focus isn't very good. You want to use that decay on a certain, like a single hero, and just have everyone focus that one person down, so then he'll be out of the way, as well as Trundle will have those extra tank stats for the time being. So unfortunately though, they are going to extend this gold lead to around 5,000 gold. NFAO is going to continue to pull ahead now with that dragon, and now with a 6 kill lead over. As everyone buys up and resurrects right now, looking over it, Kog'Maw is staying at 131. Compared to this Vayne as 311 with a 131 CS. Also picking up that Bloodthirster already and going to start working on that Phantom Dancer. So she's already sitting comfortably ahead of Kog'Maw right now. This is where Vayne wants to get, is just continue to get those items right now uncontested. She's actually having a very easy time doing it. We do see TF also going for that death cap right now. How much gold does he have? 400, so he'll hit that death cap in roughly 700 gold. And that actually gives him, that's one of the items TF really needs, is to get that death cap and get high amounts of AP, and then start to transition into these other items, like you can go Rylai's, Lichbane, Void Staff also if it's necessary. Hourglass is also a very good defensive item from him. And unfortunately that the Hourglass bug that used to do with TF is actually not in the game anymore. However, that was actually a very frustrating bug, and it made TF already more of an annoyance than he already was. I don't know if you were around when that happened.
But
so
bottom lane here, Undead Mickey trying to engage on a Vayne. There's the ult by Lulu, but Kog'Maw's going to be out of there just in time with 50 HP.
A last second exhaust mitigated Vayne's damage, and it wasn't enough to actually take that kill. However, we do see Vayne is actually just going to continue chipping away. Again, this lane bottom is just having problems in the fact that Kog'Maw keeps taking all the brunt of the damage, and we don't see any peeling right now, as he's always just right at the same range for Vayne to hit. So Vayne is getting the choice of hitting either this Nunu or Cog, and Cog's not really abusing the range and the slows to, you know, zone Vayne out, or to, you know, just get free chip damage with living artillery and Bioarcane Barrage. We do see a ping actually on their blue buff right now. They do know that this Lulu's here right now. I'm not going to be able to pinch this right now, as Janna's also going to just continue to mid lane. Janna also going for that death cap soon, still sitting roughly 50 CS over TF, but TF netting 1 kill and 4 extra assists over Janna, not to mention the dragon and now the tower. So TF all behind in farm is actually sitting very comfortably in total gold. 6,000, only 100 gold behind Janna due to these assists and the dragon. We do see Udyr storming up. We have this area warded. Most of the teams right now just grouping up around here, while Ryze is actually still top. However, Ryze's teleport is still coming off cooldown, almost off cooldown, so he might be able to get a teleport in soon. Jan actually with enough AP there, again, just a full charged Howling Gale pushing off the whole wave right now. And Kog'Maw should really just be trying to continue to farm this bottom lane. I don't know where he's going. And there he is, he's returning to the lane. He really needs to start picking up on that farm and start to get those high items for that high damage.
And Shen returning to top lane. Lulu picking up the first Oracle of the game, has been doing an excellent job in warding and counter warding. But with that Oracles, we'll be able to clear out a lot of the vision that Efflorescence has over NFAO right now. Janna picking up the Revenant's death cap at the same time as Twisted Fate. Nunu also picking up an Oracles.
Yeah, so now what we also see, looking again at the top lane quick, Shen at 117 compared to Ryze's 95. Again, now he's just at this point where he can sit and out damage Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate, most of the damage that actually comes out of Shen is magical, and Ryze is only in here with 39 MR, so he's not going to be able to sit through that. However, we do have Shen with a Wit's End, so that's going to give him a lot of extra, or a nice extra chunk of MR, and he'll be able to trade as well as sustain himself on Ryze, being able to mitigate damage through taunt as well as the Feint Shield, and then the Vorpal Blade allows him to sustain himself, and then with the Wit's End he gets more hits on it, and then he'll continuously be able to sustain himself. And now it's just that luxury Shen has now, because now his whole kit works together. It actually makes him, that's what makes him so strong now once he starts to get items as well. He's such a strong utility tank. We do see most of NFAO now up here trying to push down this tower right now. However, we do see the Kog'Maw and the Trundle up here that this isn't really a fight that they can win right now. The TF and Chen are just going to do huge amounts of damage, and this Lulu's actually hitting that level 9 right now with that full level 5 and that pick shield. So that's going to be able to, and this top tower is most likely going to go down. There it is, dropping very fast. TF with a nice amount of AP right now is able to chunk that very quickly. As we do see actually Vayne solo pushing bottom quickly. Nunu's not able to do much right now. Again, there's only so much Nunu can do to support, but we do see Kog'Maw down. There's the Void who's going down. Living Artillery striking onto Vayne. However, they aren't going to go and try to chase this right now, surprisingly. Even with that Blood Boil, if he just connected one of those Ice Balls, that would have been very easy for them to continue to chase.
A lot of split pushing, I guess, ideas going on right now. We've got 3 members of NFAO in top lane. Ryze and Trundle, the only ones nearby. Middle lane, Udyr trying to hold his own against Janna, and bottom lane, Vayne pushing up against Kog'Maw and Nunu. There's the final hour in, the Ice Ball, Absolute Zero going off. Excellent tumble out of the way, but Odd Stealth will fall. Nunu, Ignite will not be able to take him down. Well played to save that Oracle. Things going down on that bottom turret now that nobody's down there to protect it. And there's Destiny. Oh, Delirium flashing to get out of the way to get to flee from Twisted Fate's gold card. Very well played by Janna here, but coming back to her tower, trying to defend this against 4 members of NFAO.
I'm surprised they didn't continue to push the top lane, knowing that Nunu and Kog'Maw expended so much bottom against his Vayne. Ryze can only hold so much, and that's only if he has Desperate Power ready, and Trundle isn't exactly the strongest pusher. And they have so much poke that they can just continue to pressure the tower instead. So yeah, after the attempt on Janna, they'll just go take the second dragon for themselves and extend the gold lead now, nearing about 8,000 gold. Not too bad looking at total gold now. Again, due to all these, even though Janna right now is nearly, or is roughly, is just about 75 CS ahead of this TF, all these objectives and assists are keeping him on par in gold, and he's not getting too much behind Janna despite having a large deficit in creep. Shen now also completing Warmogs, as well as we see Kog'Maw now finally having Infinity Edge. However, Vayne with Phantom Dancer now is basically a whole, is one item up on this Kog'Maw, and that's, again, you don't want to be that in an AD carry. All those items count. Just being one item behind compared to the other AD is actually a huge problem going into mid-game fights, especially because every single item that gets gained by AD carries makes them that much stronger, again, with their the high scaling, and especially with Vayne having this very hyper carry status, the closer she gets to a full 6-item build.
Yep, and we do see Ryze finally picking up that Banshee's Veil, a little bit more tanky now, still not quite as beefy as we would expect him to be, and especially since Shen with that Wit's End does have an MR, also a force of nature. Ryze can't really do much of anything in that top lane anymore. And NFAO is going to engage on a Baron right now. The rest of Efflorescence knows this, but Kog'Maw is still in bottom lane. Nunu's still on his way, and Janna's taking care of Vayne right now. Wow.
Trying to turn on to, however, we do see the decay being thrown on Yuhn. Instead, they actually decide to back off. Surprisingly, they just decided to kind of let that go, regardless. They know Kog'Maw is still bottom right now. This is a possible 5v4 if they're able to pick one off of this. Either with Destiny, Taunt, Flash Bear Paw is also a possibility. We'll see right now. Again, both with Oracles right now, just clearing out these wards. Kog'Maw continuously is still trying to push bottom, actually, but Janna, with a heavy amount of CS and AP, as well as that blue buff, is still able to just poke away with these tornadoes. However, we do see there's the gold card flash over, there's the taunt and bear paw to Janna. Janna getting caught, a big mistake, as they knew this ramp was warded. I'm not too sure why they went down that, but there's the Destiny, a red card slowing both Nunu and Trundle. No stun. There's the taunt actually whiffing, and Trundle's actually just going to be able to flash out and get that. So again, just another kill being thrown away by NFAO. However, doesn't really matter at this point, as they still see Kog'Maw bottom. They're just going to go and take this free dragon, but we do see Shen actually using that teleport bottom, and that's going to force Kog'Maw to leave this turret, as the rest of his team is going to be able to do Baron without him, no real problem. Again, this Vayne still very highly itemized already for 26 or 27 minutes into the game, and it's just going to be a very, very quick Baron. That's going to go to NFAO.
Yep, and Undead Mickey still left in this bottom lane here, trying to take that tower. But gosh dang it, on Shen being able to
he's backing off. You can just take this Kog'Maw. He's 2 levels up. He has a Wit's End. You can just go and whack him. Instead, he's just going to let Kog'Maw go. He's going to push this back as the rest of his team takes this middle turret with their Baron right now. Looking at that gold, almost just short of a 10k gold lead right now. Looking at Janna looks to be going for Zhonya's Hourglass right now. Would be a very strong item against this Vayne for one, as well as to possibly prevent any getting caught in the future again, just like we saw by that gold card combo, or initiated by TF. You see Lulu also going for that Shirley's Reverie, a very strong item. Vayne, very smart, going for this QSS right now, just in case she gets locked down. There's only one real hard CC worth getting out of right now. So don't know if the QSS is really a necessary move. To me it wouldn't be, but she is packing, strangely, an Ignite on Vayne. Instead maybe like Heal or Cleanse. I'm not a huge fan of Ignite on many AD carries, except for like Tristana Graves.
Why is that?
With Ignite, Ignite is big on burst, especially when you have Vayne. That's actually instead right now we do see Kog'Maw and Trundle here. Kog'Maw is able to flash the wall, however, Trundle obviously does not have that flash as he did use it before. Does get stunned, but that pillar as well as the contamination is going to be able to help him speed away. But this Udyr is so fast right now, obviously with that bear form and that force of nature giving him that speed. Trying to stick to him with bear, trying to get him. His team actually isn't following up on this right now. He is a lumber. He is going to escape to that. Actually, interesting enough, Vayne and Shen were actually continuing to chase down that Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw does get out though, and actually Vayne is going to fall. So again, just the focus on NFAO isn't exactly on point, and they really need to start doing that in case Efflorescence capitalizes off that. But going back to that, Ignite is a really, it plays into burst. If you don't burst heavily, there's no real issue with it, or it's good for like that execution. Vayne has very low damage at the start of the game, and especially late game, Vayne already has high enough damage that you don't need an Ignite, because Vayne becomes this hyper carry that just shreds through everything. So it's better to have these defensive, like it's not completely horrible to pack Ignite. It's just she wants to play defensive in lane and have that heal or cleanse for her to, you know, survive. And healing cleanse are actually very useful late game now with the way that heal gives you such a huge chunk of health back, and cleanse is actually very useful because now it does get rid of that exhausting Ignite. And even that that cleanse would have netted her, I think, 2 kills in lane because of the exhaust that was thrown down on her at the very last second.
And we got System Fate picking up that blue buff. Baron is still, the Baron buff is about to expire in another couple minutes, and the rest of Efflorescence still being able to defend the majority of their lanes despite that 10k gold disadvantage. Dragon is also up, but Kog'Maw in trouble. There's Destiny. Undead Mickey not able to run anywhere, will get melted down.
Getting caught, as well as that Lulu speed buff out of Whimsy allowed Vayne to get in there, and that passive. But they do actually catch the stunning Udyr right now, and also the Condemn onto the corner of that, and or sorry, Rise. Rise is also going to fall, and this bottom turret is going to be gone as Udyr and Shen can just tank that for days right now with that. So strong right now. Shen has that Warmogs, as well as looking into building that Force of Nature, looks like, and as well as Udyr now with a lot of heavy tank items, also completing Randuin's. Over there trying to do this right now. Shen just tanking at it. However, the focus has switched off to TF right now. TF has to flash out, not quite enough, as he's going to get tagged by that Zephyr, and that last tower shot going to take him down. But in that absolute zero, Janna not able to escape, as she's also going to fall, as well as, sorry, not that absolute zero, the absolute zero. Trying to zone actually this NFAO team isn't quite enough, as Vayne dealing out some heavy amounts of damage, as well as Shen and Udyr are just able to stick to their opponents so heavily with Randuin's taunts and stuns right now. More damage going off. That red buff is... No, there's no red buff, never mind. Just oh my gosh. Switching back in, that taunt comes out, dashing right back into it. Vayne dealing so much damage right now, picking up that triple kill on the last 3 members, and that's going to turn to an ace. And we already see GG's being called out through the chat right now, as that bottom inhibitor is going to be taken quickly, and they are going to go on to these Nexus turrets now. It's falling so fast right now. Again, they still have Shen and Udyr just able to tank this very much as they shred down this turret. Nunu has now respawned, as well as Janna finally now, but the second Nexus turret is going to go down. And here they, not everyone's quite focusing this Nexus yet. There we go, Vayne finally starting to hit that Nexus after a little bit of lifesteal. There's not much they can do right now. 1,000 health on this Nexus, and there we go. NFAO is going to proceed to the grand finals now, and they're going to knock down Efflorescence down to the losers bracket. So, what I believed, if I just didn't think that Efflorescence's team was nearly executing what they had to do with these champions correctly. Again, Kog'Maw just seemed to be bottom lane. The big problem was Kog'Maw kept getting chunked, and Nunu seemed to always be at full health, which isn't the case that you want to. Nunu, as a support, is not going to deal damage. He's going to act as that that buffer, using Blood Boil, and also be that disruption and zone for Kog'Maw via Absolute Zero once he gets level 6, as well as Ice Blast. So, interestingly, Kog'Maw kept getting chunked and fell, I think, 2 or 3 times in lane to Vayne. I think 2 times. That's just something that can happen, especially when Vayne basically had free reign her lane, ending the game at 12.5k gold, the highest in the game. That's not what you want to have as Vayne. You want to be able to bully this, and even with they had these opportunities to trade, even again with his Lulu support that necessarily didn't take advantage of. That allowed Vayne to just sit comfortably there, farm up ahead of Kog'Maw, and then eventually, again, as you saw, the triple kill at the end. She was just so far ahead that there's not much that they can do, as Kog'Maw was basically a whole full item behind at the end of the game.
With odd stealth on Vayne for NFAO, being allowed to just kind of run away with the whole game. The very end, I mean, Udyr 4-0 and 10, Lulu 1-0 and 12, and Shen actually doing an excellent job. The tankiness that Udyr and Shen had in that end game, Twisted Fate just being able to zip around everywhere and not being able to reach Vayne, not being able to shut her down, that kind of nabbed NFAO that win very solidly.
Just poor execution mainly was the problem there, I believe. Other than that, there wasn't much they could do once these champions on NFAO side started to get their items, and then it was much more able to comfortably control the game, especially from that global perspective. Again, Shen, Twisted Fate, despite being a nearly 100 CS deficit compared to Janna, still ends the game higher. Again, due to the early kills and assists, as well as the dragons that they were getting, kept him just a little bit behind Janna, so he never really fell out of it. So that allowed him to still be useful and still be that asset in team fights and that kiting, get those gold cards off, still deal a large amount of damage with wild card, and then transitioned into this more mid-game, late game where he puts pressure on alongside Shen with Teleport, Stand United, as well as Destiny. That allowed them to control the game very effectively.
And I guess with that being said, we'll wrap up for now and wait for the grand finals and the rest of the lower bracket.
Yep. So we will be right back to you with the conclusion of the Under the Rift tournament. Don't go anywhere.